In a world where magic meets innovation, where sky coaches race above cityscapes and adventure calls from every corner, there's a name that echoes with potential. This is Eberron. A place where the bold push the boundaries of what's possible, where lightning rails connect to distant lands, and artifice meets magic to forge the future. Whether you're soaring over the towers of Sharn, or delving deep into the secrets of the Mornland, one truth stands clear. Eberron isn't just a world, it's an experience. Here at the Prologue Productions Podcast, we dive into the stories, the struggles, and the adventures that define this land of endless possibilities. Because an Eberron is not just about where you've been, it's about where you're going. So buckle up, the journey starts here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prologue Productions Podcast.
Meow.
My name's Jacob.
Meow.
And that's the cat.
No, it's not. It's Jake.
I
Fooled
see.
ya.
Ha!
Ha.
Oh.
Welcome back to Eberron. We're doing Eberron. Eberron's great. We love Eberron.
Yes. We have our party.
We do.
And now we need to get into our adventure.
And what a party it is.
What a party.
Just a bunch of messed up individuals.
Yeah. Who may or may not turn evil by the end of this. And that's up to you.
Oh, gosh. Wouldn't that be just a good time? Just having a bunch of evil characters running around causing mischief.
Yep. That sounds lovely.
I mean, already criminal and evil. I mean, are we operating within the bounds of societal structure? Put a chance.
I mean, this is just the societal norm of a serial killer tends to be evil.
Yeah. Yeah. I think classically being a serial killer tends to have a negative connotation.
Yeah, but that's just one of them. That's
Yeah.
just Mal.
Yeah, that's just Mal. No big deal. We also have you want to start from the beginning? Let's do Onka Gashnak
Yes.
to start. Onka, our lovely
Circle of the Spores druid
that's right.
who was displaced from up north with the gatekeepers because she had killed a rival to enter the cult of the dragon below.
one of the cults of the dragon.
Yes, one of the
below.
cults was banished because of that, and so to atone for her actions.
you
That's
go.
the word. I'm like, what is it? To atone for her actions, was sent. Was banished, and got caught up in the morning,
Yeah.
or got caught up in the last war right before the morning happened.
Yeah.
Mysteriously didn't die in the morning and was picked up by a war vet who was stuck in the morning because he got betrayed by his unit.
This would be Mal,
aka
aka Practice, aka Needle.
Yes.
Although at the time he just went by Practice when
Yeah.
this happened, who dragged her out of the morning. He's an artificer, warforged, and alchemist who was created for the express purpose of treating injuries and bolstering his comrades on the battlefield. Was betrayed, but stayed alive and went back to Breland with a absolute fucking vengeance. Took Onka with him.
Something snapped in him during that whole thing. In that process of bringing Onka out, had developed a sort of bond with her, also an interest because she's immune to the morning. Most other organic races immediately die, or die shortly after they're poisoned by the morning. But she's fine.
That's right.
So he's like, that's interesting. And then we have Jacoby,
Jacoby Koratari.
who is also a refugee from the last war,
Yes.
whose family got wrapped up in it, losing most of his family except for his immediate kids.
Yeah.
His wife and grandkids had both passed in it.
Yep. He's a Kalashtar, grew up in a small Kalashtar community in Sire. And obviously I think we didn't expressly mention it, but probably they were leaving Sire because the war had sort of congregated towards there. Because canonically, Sire is the seat of Galifar, which was the ancient empire which ruled over Corvair, which was broken and then was restructured into different nations during I think it's called the Treaty of Thronehold, I'm pretty sure. So Sire was the source of the morning, or was the epicenter, I should say. And they were probably refugees leaving to head somewhere else when the morning struck, and he watched most of his family perish.
Except for his kids, who
Yeah, except for his kids.
haven't been the same since.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now they're
in New Tavik's Landing refugee camp.
Lower Tavik's Landing.
Lower Tavik's Landing, excuse me.
In the Syrian refugee camp, where Onka's taking care of the refugees as druids do, while studying the morning with the help of practice.
Who's visiting the refugee camp while also going into the gladiator arena to find other war vets to kill them.
Yeah, going into Lower Sharn, going to sketchy places with fighting pits, tracking down and killing vets for the sake of vengeance for the last war. And we were just talking about this before we started breaking down the breakdown, but I think it'd be fun because Practice has a bounty on his head. House Tharashk is out for him.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be fun.
Someone had to front that bounty.
Exactly. And normal vets, speaking as one myself, don't have a lot of money, especially after a failed war. So they're probably struggling as driving their laborers. They're working in factories, in the cogs, or, regular shopkeepers, blah, blah, blah. Probably we think it would be cool. It would happen if maybe, one of the officers in the last war, a dragon-marked noble, that was in Practice's unit. Maybe Practice was in one of the arenas and saw this individual. Maybe they had the mark of Sentinel, or mark of healing. Ooh, that'd be fun. Because if they're a mark of healing, maybe they're tied, because that's House Jarasco, and House Jarasco is tied to Boromar, the Boromar clan. Oh. So maybe he saw them. Maybe they didn't even fight, but Practice marked them, botched it, or killed them, and because of that, now there's like a legit bounty on his head from a dragon marked house. It's not just like some person who's like, I'll give you 10 gold to hunt down this guy.
Or I think maybe, I feel like Practice doesn't mince words, and maybe after killing one of the veterans in one of his fights, saw him, and that was maybe the leader of his unit, who perhaps gave the order for everyone to evacuate because he got trapped in some sort of situation. And so maybe like openly called him out in the gladiator pits. You, Lieutenant, you're my next target. Like in the middle of the fight. And so
and then just disappears.
He freaked out, disappeared, and then put a bounty on his head because he's scared for his life.
And this would probably be House Denith. This would probably be, excuse me, this would probably be...
Jesus Christ.
I'm full of Red Bull, baby. Woo! Shout out Jordan for being our sponsor, our Red Bull sponsor. Not really, though. We're not really sponsored.
We're not really sponsored. Maybe someday.
Maybe pretty cool. Because the House Denaith has the, like I said, mark of Sentinel. They would probably be in positions... Yeah. In positions of, high rank within the last war. And maybe even this noble did it. Maybe they ordered the Warforged, like, hey, you stand by and cover our retreat. We're noticing this only kills biologicals. But because Practice got so fucked up, PTSD from the war, it's sort of this misplaced thing where it's like, oh, me and my brethren had to cover your retreat. We all died except me. I managed to escape. Like, why didn't you let us come with you? But in reality, these Warforged were covering their retreat to get out.
I like that.
Just to give it a little more spice.
And so, just placed all of his hatred on the unit, but then saw the one who gave the order.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Because it's not inherently... That's what I like, too. It's like where it's evil, but it's like not... There's shades of gray.
Yeah, because that's how real life is.
Yeah.
There's not like super actual evil person except billionaires.
Yeah, the morning started pushing outward and noticing that the Warforger immune to it said you need to hold the line, and then the rest of us need to evacuate, and then just completely misplaced that as like you abandoned us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so while that's all happening, Jacoby, also in the refugee camps with the remains of his family, developed a aberrant dragon mark, let in one of the Dreaming Dark quarry from Dalquor during this moment of absolute distress, and is now driven by this sort of warrior Dalquor, this quarry spirit, which manifested the dragon mark, aberrant dragon mark, which led him to House Tarkanan. House Tarkanan, one of the other gangs made up of all aberrant dragon mark individuals, is now in direct opposition to the rest of the gangs. And basically, what's going down is Dask is trying to put together a spell sync, an eldritch machine.
Yes, which basically shuts off any magical device within a pretty large area.
Yeah.
Which would then give them control over that small pocket of Sharn.
Yeah. And then they could dictate what happens in Lower Sharn. No sky coaches, no airships, elevators don't work. You want to send down guards, you want to send down merchants, you want to use the docks to bring goods up? Okay, you got to pay us a tithe.
You're going to have to go through Dask.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now Dask is backed up by Droam, the monstrous country, nation, quote unquote.
Off to the west of Sire.
Yeah, behind the Grey Wall Mountains, something like that. And then led by this coven of hags. And so maybe now the daughters of Sorakel, these hags, are making a bid for control in Sharn, and they're trying to spread their talons and take control over Sharn.
Yeah. And we were also talking about sort of, with Onka's background being the Mourning being some sort of biological threat, and then having it be this greater threat to all of Corvair, having a coterminous event slowly pushing this manifest zone farther out, forcing the Mourning to expand just out of the Mournland.
Yeah.
And perhaps some higher ups or some of the higher up peoples in this high society or some of the secret organizations know that the Mournlands are slowly expanding.
Maybe.
And so fighting for these manifest zones, which are perhaps a deterrent, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know if it's explicitly stated, but manifest zones maybe not being able to interact with each other, or being repelling each other.
But it's extremely rare
that
manifest zones would happen like that. And maybe even the manifest zone, maybe the Mourning is actually a manifest zone for Zoriat.
Oh.
And Avash is channeling the Delkir, the big, one of the main sort of super evil entities. They're like the fiendish kings, basically the aberration kings of Kyber, which is like the under so many words, so many fantasy words,
words that if you don't know what we're talking about,
Kyber,
it's
Avash, fucking sire.
Yeah.
But I just had an idea of what I think would be super cool. We're going each of these months is sort of like a new season, right?
Yeah.
New setting. This is our 5th, I believe.
Yes.
Lost Mine,
Dragons of Icespire Peak,
Theros.
4th.
Eberron. This is our 4th. So by this time, let's say these are actually all campaigns. By this time, you really want to spread your wings. You want to fucking hit it hard. Bring in all of the groups, which is what I love to do.
Yeah.
All of everybody that you could possibly
just give
interact
yourself
with.
so much work that it's exhausting.
It's so much fun.
But it's so fun
to tie all the threads together. I love it. I love it so much. I feel like Charlie from fucking
it's like Pepe Sylvia.
What?
From what do you call it? Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's Pepe Sylvia. It's like there's all these letters that are going to this Pepe Sylvia, but no one by the name
Charlie
of Pepe
the
Sylvia.
One who is doing
and he's got all the threads going around. Yeah.
With the crazy expression, the meme.
Yep.
That's what I feel like. But so here's what we're doing. We're already dealing with House Tarkanan. We're already dealing with Dask.
Yes.
We're bringing in the dragon marked houses. Obviously, you can't have an Eberron campaign without the dragon marked houses.
Yes, of course.
We're dealing with Eldritch Machines, the spell sync, the Mourning. We're bringing in other nations, like all this stuff. Why not?
We're bringing in the lords of Kyber.
Why not tie in maybe but beyond all of this, like, so Droam, the backers of Dosk are trying to gain hold on a small scale, and this is a small scale sort of altercation. They're trying to build a spell sink, or they're trying to gain control of a spell sink. Perhaps they're working with House Cannith. House Cannith is trying to destabilize Sharn to create some new conflict so that they can make more money, a la present day yet again. Destabilize the country, corporations make more money, Dragonmark houses make more money, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Conflict is good for those in power.
Yeah.
It drives, profit. So you could either tie in maybe House Cannith, or maybe in Droam, they have developed the technology to make a spell sink that they stole from the Morning or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Lord of the Blades is working with them somehow, blah, blah, blah. But like very large scale, perhaps there is a cult of the Dragon Below for Avash operating in Sharn, and they are using all of this. They're funding all of these things
To cause chaos.
To hide the fact that they are trying to create a machine, or they're trying to repurpose the cogs, like a machine deep underneath Sharn, or they're trying to make a machine that's going to move the manifest zone and place it inside the Morning so that the Morning spreads, and that's why it's happening. The Morning is slowly leaking out of the Morning, or out of the Mournlands, and everyone's like, why is this happening? What's going on? Or
to destabilize the manifest zone that's keeping Sharn afloat, or that's keeping Sharn up.
Yeah. Yep.
So Sharn is slowly starting to
starting at the top,
buckle under its own weight.
The Skyway, where like the elite live, maybe towers are starting to crumble. People are starting to fall for no reason.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So much bigger problem happening.
So that, I think those are both ideas.
That would be intense.
Super cool.
I mean, both those ideas don't have to be mutually distinct.
That's true.
Or mutually exclusive. One would probably cause the other.
Yeah.
If they're slowly siphoning the Serenian manifest
zone. Or maybe they're
zone,
slowly trying to convert the manifest zone into one of Kyber. A Kyber manifest zone, which is, we can say, where the Morning had come from,
Yeah. Or from, the plane of madness, Zoriat, I think it's called.
Zoriat, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe could be good.
Slowly converting Sharn into, into a manifest zone for that.
The new Morning.
Yeah.
Maybe they're establishing cults in every major city, and they're trying to slowly make the whole nation of Corvair the Morning.
Yeah.
I bet Practice would actually be maybe even cool with that.
Yeah.
Although probably not. That would be
Maybe
a good.
not.
That would be crazy because
that's a moral conundrum
moral
from him.
quandary. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if this is happening, because the Lord of Blades sits within the Mournlands, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and the there's a small nation of Warforged, or a small group of Warforged, or he's beckoning them to come to the Mournlands because that's where they can stay. They can talk to the leaders of Corvair to say, hey, if the Warforged are able to help you with this, the Mournlands that's our nation, because it's technically not. They're just kind of.
They're squatting.
They're occupying it because
because they can. They're squatting.
Because they can. But maybe having the Mournlands officially be a nation for Warforged or something, and they can do a big power play to.
That would be great too. Like, we'll help you stop this from happening, but once we clear the Morning, Sire is now a Warforged nation, specifically for Warforged.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to toil in your factories anymore.
Yep.
We have our own. That would be awesome. That's a good counterpoint to the very dark shit that we've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight for Warforged Nation, and then them maybe having even being shown the means to creating more Warforged if they want, to propagate their own people.
And then they start making deals with Cannith, like, hey, you need to give us one of your, because the Eldritch Machine that makes Warforged, when the treaty was signed, basically part of the treaty was House Cannith has to shut down all the forges.
Yeah.
Warforged cannot be produced anymore. Maybe they're fighting, like, you give us one of the forges so we can make more children. But then the destabilization is happening. The manifest zones are shifting. Cults are appearing in all the major cities.
Yeah. It's good.
That's
There's
good
a,
stuff.
There's a silver lining amidst all this chaos, and if the party wants to grasp onto that silver lining to try and make right of a really shitty situation, then they can do that. Or they can just be like, fuck it, more lands.
Yeah, exactly. Also, as far as
All hail
Jacoby
Avash.
goes, all hail Avash. Basically, what's the rot guy's name from Warhammer?
Oh, Nurgle?
Nurgle, yeah. All hail Nurgle. Mm-hmm. Bring on pestilence. Bring
Lord
in
of
the pestilence,
Lord of
baby.
Spores. You know, you can come up with your own little.
Yeah.
Come up with maybe it's like the lieutenant of Avash's army or of Avash's forces or something. Lord of Spores. Have it be just this big, disgusting, great unclean one as like a little thing.
Oh, I love that.
Just this demon of pestilence and rot and disease and
Love that. Love it. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Jacoby, I think to touch on him a little bit more, went to House Tarkanan. The reason why Jacoby is a Lycan, Order of the Lycan, is because
he made a deal with House Tarkanan
House Tarkanan did experiments on him
in exchange for protection
for his family.
for his kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a small wage to keep them afloat.
Yeah. So that's, and then the main, like sort of the culminating. So we were saying we'd probably start this campaign at level 3.
Yeah.
Give everybody their subclass to start. This is going to be a high powered campaign anyway. Like right from the rip.
High octane. We're going fast.
That's right. So give them level 3. Honestly, learning about the spell sync, fighting against Dosk, escaping the explosion, and then having the heart of the High Walls refugee camp in Lower Tavik's Landing be the quote unquote final fight, that'd probably be like level 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then at that point, throw one of the Dosk like crime lords at him, whether it be
I think there's like a male
there's an Oni.
there's a male or there's a Oni or there's like a male there's a Medusa.
Yeah.
You can throw one of them at the party. Have them be this badass fucking demon with this wicked blade, and then a couple of cronies like backing him up or something.
Looking for Jacoby's family, and then the gang has to go in there and save his family.
Or if you want to send him a few guys, you can do like a war band of ogres or minotaur.
I thought it'd be really cool because one thing that Dosk does that I was reading up about, especially because they have Medusas in their service, they'll have a Medusa petrify a family member that they'll use as collateral.
Oh, that's
So maybe
that's
they
nasty.
even go on a mission, they come back, and his family's gone.
And his kids are petrified.
They're petrified and being used as collateral by Dosk and saying, you work for us now. And now they have to go and save their family members. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
This is really dark.
Yeah,
Super dark.
really dark. I like it.
I love it.
Dark's interesting.
Speaking of dark, we got the Dreaming Dark. The Quarry
That's right, the quarry.
going on there.
Yeah. So I mean, Jacoby's dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah.
So as this goes on too, you can even have the quarry try to it says that they try to possess themselves to gain access to Eberron, correct? Because they can't interact with Eberron
Yeah.
at all,
They have
except through people's dreams.
A host.
Yeah,
They
through a
can
host.
access people's dreams, or they can live inside of a host, but it has to be a willing host.
Yeah.
And those hosts are called the Inspired.
So, I mean, maybe the quarry within Jacoby is slowly trying to gain enough power so it can actually manifest itself on Eberron. So that can be some sort of thing where you can have him be dealing with that. You can just throw all kinds of fucked up stuff at this party. You know,
That'd be so cool.
yeah.
And then after a time, perhaps they start to discover like the cult working in the background as they travel deeper and deeper and deeper within Sharn. They fight off Dask. They maybe and then this would be fun. They find the spell sync, and then they have the choice: destroy it or use it.
Yeah.
That would be a big choice too, because giving the spell sync to House Tarkanan would be a whole other thing. they'd probably use it to target anybody and everybody too. But I thought it would be cool to use more tables here to see what kind of events would sort of punctuate the adventure going forward.
Yes.
I think that
Absolutely.
in the resource called Rising from the Lost War, let's see here. Where did it? In chapter 4, Building Eberron Adventures, there's some adventure themes here. And we're a little bit past some of this stuff. We already have some villains going on. We don't really need to roll on that. We have some action going on. We already have a kickoff. Let's roll. You want to roll for some new developments, maybe?
Perhaps.
Let's see here.
Let's do some new development. So
New developments, some plot thickening.
So we've kind of been throwing a lot of ideas out. So just to kind of touch base on what's going on. Everyone's staying at a tavern, correct? Because Jacoby finally got enough money to give his kids a nice stay, and Onka and Practice have been helping out. So like, hey, why don't you guys come stay with us? You guys deserve a nice night, you know? And then there's a bomb.
Yeah.
There's a bomb in the tavern. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So maybe this can be part of that new development.
Okay.
This is kind of in between that and them figuring out there's a spell sync going on and all this stuff. So what is this?
Yeah.
D8
This is
for new development.
New development.
8.
A monster bursts in looking for food. So this could be,
Okay.
at what point would this be? Maybe when they find the spell sync, like House Tarkanan tells them, gives them operatives, go. He's doing the hand thing. Go.
It's a creature from Kyber
Yeah.
that just come bursting out.
Yep.
And they're like, why is there a creature from Kyber in Sharn? And so that kind of plops a little hint of something else is going on. There's some other hint. Maybe it's like, maybe the spell sync, maybe they have like, once they infiltrate into the spell sync, or there's nobody's in there or something, or so they don't think it's like, oh yeah, this is free and clear. And then all of a sudden there's a creature from Kyber that just gets plopped in
Maybe
there.
it's being guarded by a creature.
Or maybe guarded by a creature from Kyber.
Or guarded by a creature, or maybe they like go into the like area where they know the spell sync is supposed to be, and it's supposed to be guarded very heavily, and they're like, why are there so many? All the guards are already dead.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's going on?
And then a creature from like some Kyber creature comes looming behind the spell
and
sync.
it can be a little bit of an overpowered creature, but it's just missing most of its health.
Yeah.
Because it had to fight most
Because
of
it
the
just
guards.
fought a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and it's still hungry. It's still looking for food, and then they kill it, and then they're like, okay, where the fuck
did that come from?
Did this come from? There's the spell sync, and then they start to realize that there's like chittering maybe coming from underneath them, or something like that.
I think just having that creature pop out makes them think, what the fuck is this doing here? Is someone in league with something from Kyber? Is there some sort of manifest? Is there some sort of portal? Is there some sort of secret?
And maybe it's
some secret tunnel to Kyber from like within Lower Sharn. So that poses a lot of questions, and them kind of pushing them down the path of figuring out what, there's maybe the cults involved with this, or maybe one of the what do they call them? The Dalkir. Maybe one of the Dalkir. And then it's like, oh, this is way bigger than we thought this was.
And this would be something that Onka would immediately realize, because she's from the Gatekeepers. So she has tons of information.
She would see that creature and like, that's a monster from
And
Kyber.
maybe even we have a perfect creature to immediately throw at them, a shambling mound. Oh. That's the creatures that, like a really fucked up, twisted version of a shambling mound.
Yeah.
That's the creatures that Avash, that one.
And that's a CR5. So,
Make it, beef it.
Beef it up.
Beef it up, dude. Beef that thing.
A really big fucked up one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I like it. That's good. Because then they're like, what's this thing doing here? And one, it's from Kyber, but it's specifically made by Avash. Ooh, I like that.
So maybe and this would be their opening, like, this creature came directly, maybe as a consequence of them trying to transfer the manifest zone in Sharn into Sire and spread the morning. Perhaps a consequence of that is because of like the arcane interference that it's causing, it allows creatures from the morning to pass over into the area where the other part of this sort of arcane machine is coming from. So every now and again, a shambling mound slips through and the cult just like worships it and then lets it go.
Yeah.
And it goes and tracks down sources of power. And the spell sync would be a huge one.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's so good.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh, good. Ooh, goody.
Good stuff.
Yes.
What else we got here?
I like that.
That's a new development.
Perhaps some intrigue.
Some intrigue, or the plot thickens perchance.
Well, let's roll on both, and let's see if we get a feel for it. Story opening.
I think we've already done that, basically.
Oh, intrigue setting the stage. Plot thickens. Let's see the plot
Let's
thickens.
do that.
Yeah.
D8.
That's a 4.
What's actually precious is not a work of art, but a map or other information hidden on it. Like inside a statue, behind a painting in the frame, and so on. What's actually precious is not a work of art, but a map or other information hidden on it.
So this is something they wouldn't find out right away. Mm-hmm. Maybe the spell sync isn't a spell sync.
Maybe it's actually just a consequence of drawing power. Maybe it's actually a generator or something.
Maybe it's like a generator that generates a manifest zone.
Mm-hmm. And that manifest zone just so happens to be canceling out in the manner of a spell sync.
Yeah.
I see.
And that's maybe how they figure out that manifest zones can't interact with each other. Mm-hmm. That they maybe cancel each other out.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's an interesting little bit to throw.
And that's why. Oh,
well, also because Serania, is Serania? It's not the plane of order, is it?
yes,
It is.
I think so.
Are we sure about that?
No, I'm not.
Let's see. Serania, the azure sky, plane of peace.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Yeah, Donvi, I believe, is the plane of order.
Donvi, the perfect order.
Yeah.
So
Serania is...
Or maybe certain manifest zones cancel each other out.
Yeah. I mean, the plane of peace and angels and the plane of Zoriat, maybe they're canceling each other out. That's how that works.
Yeah.
But there's arcane runoff, basically. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's very interesting.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So that's how the plot thickens. Yeah. They find out that the spell sync is not a spell sync, and they were maybe using it maybe the cult from the Dragon Below was testing it,
and they were using Dask as their patsy.
Yes,
basically. Yeah.
And so they found out that it turns into a spell sync. It's like, oh, we can use this.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe other information hidden on it or inside it if they choose, because Mal is an artificer. Mm-hmm. He's an alchemist, but he's an artificer.
Yeah.
If they roll high enough, maybe they pull it apart and they discover House Cannith branding on some of the parts inside of it. And they're like, how did they get these parts? Oh, House Cannith is involved somehow.
House Cannith is in on this.
Why are they involved in this?
Yeah.
And then now they have, like, do we go approach House Cannith? Do we even tell House Tarkanan? Mm-hmm. Do we bring the wrath of, like, do we get the city involved and tell,
do we get
like,
the city guard involved and say, hey, this is, what's going on? But maybe...
the Brellish military even?
But maybe the cult from the Dragon Below is in their pocket. So, yeah, maybe go to the Brellish military. Maybe they go to, what's the name of the monstrous nation?
Droam.
Droam. Maybe they go straight to Droam, too. And like, hey, look, there's some shit going on. Like... we need to, this is a problem. Yeah. And then maybe you guys can benefit from this. Or,
absolutely.
So they have there's a bunch of avenues for picking and choosing their allies. And
oh, you know what'd be fun too? Yeah, a lot of picking and choosing allies. This is like city sandbox at this point.
Oh yeah.
Who are you choosing to side with?
Who are you allying with?
Do you tell Dask that they're being manipulated? And maybe that's another way to save his family instead.
Yeah.
Instead of going the violence route, maybe you just convince them, hey, you guys, this isn't what you think it is.
No, this isn't a spell sync.
This is going to cause a lot more problem than it's worth.
Yeah.
There's a table here for cult NPCs, cults of the Dragon Below NPCs. So maybe we roll on this to find out exactly who within the city is like the head of the cult that's driving this.
Yeah. So we don't need to roll on the cults below because it's Zavash.
Yeah,
we cult of Avash.
And Avash isn't even mentioned here.
No.
Interestingly,
I think it's because Avash is a newer. What's the name of them?
Dalkir.
Dalkir, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Avash, the Twister of Roots.
Yes, that's a newer one.
Yes.
So let's roll a cult NPC, and maybe that's kind of the one like behind all of this. Mm-hmm. Let's see. 8. A respected noble behaves more erratically as time goes on, treating their servants and family with random and escalating cruelty.
Checks out. So it's
Yeah.
a noble.
A corrupted noble.
A corrupted noble. Easy.
That's, yeah.
Easy peasy.
That could be anybody.
Yeah. And that could be, now you get to choose which house they're part of.
Yeah. House Cannith, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy.
House Cannith.
Boom. House Cannith.
A corrupted noble.
That's so good. It just
Yep,
works.
who slowly started working, who got corrupted by the cult from the dragon below and is worshipping Avash and is pushing of the,
Pushing the yeah.
pushing the yeah.
They're just out there. They're pushing you.
They're pushing you. They're just pushing you.
Push it. Yeah.
That is so good.
We are rolling so on the nose, man.
Yep.
So good. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good there. Dragon marked houses. And then there's even little maps for Arcane Workshop.
Yeah.
If you want to
that's
use
super
those.
nice. Yeah, it's super nice. You know, a little something, something. If you don't feel like messing around with it, you just get a little map right there.
Okay, cool.
And maybe, how about a dragon marked NPC? Let's get a little dragon marked NPC in there.
Yeah.
Let's see, just, you know, maybe just three.
3.
Heir to House Galandra poisons members of other House Dragons to stay in non-Galandra inns, discrediting rival businesses while attacking the houses.
So House Galanda is the house
that?
of hospitality.
Oh.
They run the majority of the inns, like the reputable inns in most cities. And maybe House Galanda poisons member of other dragon marked houses who stays in non-Galanda inns. That could be like, this could just tie into the inn that they're staying in. Perhaps the heir of like the House Galanda member who owns the inn that his family is in, they are upset for some reason, and that's why they are willing to let Dask in and into their inn, whatever.
Yeah.
This is a little, you know, you can work that in however you want.
Little side thing if
Work
you
that
want.
in however you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot of moving pieces going on here.
So many moving pieces.
You even got stuff for Droam. Got the Warlords of Droam.
So
You can bring any of them in. The Venom Lords.
once they discover this, again, then it's like off to the races. Who are you going to tell? For what purposes? There's the Brelish military who there's the Brelish
No,
government.
where's Brelish? Where's Brelin? Brelish is east of
Breland is
the
Sharn.
morning.
Sharn is
Brelish
in Breland.
Brelin is Sharn. Okay.
Yes. So Breland is where Sharn is, and there's this Brelish, basically like secret military organization or like secret service FBI style called the Dark Lanterns. They handle all of the most like significant shit that happens. They're super powerful. They're more like Delta Force, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe they bring it if they decide to start being good and do it the right way. Probably not.
They get contacted by the Dark Lanterns.
The Dark Lanterns contact them, and
Yeah.
now they start working for the Dark Lanterns as like, you know, what's the word? Contractors.
Yeah. Or if they don't decide the good route, maybe they start to get attacked. You know, they get contacted by the Dark Lanterns and like, look, you need to drop it. You need to back off, or you're gonna get taken care of. Basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving that forward, like they go to Droam perhaps to go deal with the daughters of Sorakel, any of the hags, or they go to the morning. Jacoby can be protected from the morning somehow, but Onka and Mal are already good. They don't need protection. They've already survived the morning. So perhaps their adventures bring them all the way into the heart of the Mournlands.
Yeah.
And then they're
This could go so many ways. You know,
Yeah.
this is just our ideas, but this campaign can literally go in any which direction. But yeah, maybe go directly into the morning. And there's like a visual representation of like the manifest zones, or you know, of this one specifically. And perhaps there's maybe there's this large tunnel that leads into Kyber. That's like out of the center, and then there's like these, you know, there's like maybe more mushroom activity or something going on, and these are like generating this biological threat that caused the morning or something. You know?
There's so many different ways to
You can go any which way. This can be a romp through Kyber, and just being ever-changing tunnels and stuff leading to God knows where, or any other plane.
And if they really fuck it up, like not in a good way, and everyone's just after them.
I don't think fucking up is in a good way. I don't.
Well,
know
you
why
could say
said
like,
that.
"Ooh, fuck it up." You know what I'm saying? You never heard somebody say that positively?
No.
Like, oh shit, yeah, fuck it up, dude. Hell yeah, fuck it up.
Nope.
Never?
Never in my life.
God, you've never been to a club before. But if they really truly make a mess out of it,
Yeah.
and they have all these groups after them, maybe they take a job. Maybe they're just like, fuck, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what's going on now. It's out of our hands. Let's fuck off to the continent of Zendrick. Maybe they take a job going relic hunting, or maybe they go to a whole nother nation, and then they just go out from Sharn. The thing about Sharn is that it's so dense. You could do a whole campaign just in Sharn. It'd be insane.
Yeah.
I basically pretty much did that.
Yeah, and you can just go deeper into Sharn and discover the abandoned goblin,
The Dakani Empire.
the Dakani Empire.
Yeah.
And then maybe even deeper below that, there are tunnels to Kyber. Like, you know,
Sweetly.
this can go any which way.
So many different
and
ways.
so many options at your disposal.
Yeah.
We just named off some ideas that we thought would be cool.
We named at least a quarter of the groups operating within Sharn, maybe even half. So that at this point, it's like just see where. At this point, it's up to the players.
Yeah. We're just kind of, we're extrapolating. We're just, we're speculating potential paths that people could go and their end game ideas. But this is literally like, this is a sandbox. So you kind of have to take it like a few sessions at a time, plan a little bit farther ahead, or have some ideas in case, contingency plans in case something goes wrong, what would happen. And so this is a lot of extra work, but
at the end of the day, there's a ton of tables. If you're hurting for an idea, there's a ton of tables. There's at least, I think it's listed at the end of Rising from the Last War. No, in Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron, under further reading, Appendix A, there are so many source books from 3.5 edition and 4th edition. So you need specific information, find one of these source books. Just because it's not compatible necessarily doesn't mean it doesn't have all the information you'll ever need. There's tons of stuff on dmsguild.com. I use a lot of stuff from dmsguild.com.
City of Stormreach, Dragons of Eberron, there's the oh my god. There's like 15 plus books that you can use if you want more inspiration on stuff.
And comprehensive overviews of all of the nations, all of the sub-nations, culture, behavior, folklore, blah, blah, blah. Really get into it.
They even have novels in Eberron, dozens of novels.
Yeah.
You can fully immerse yourself in Eberron, and you can you can do all kinds of stuff.
I've been meaning to read some of these novels. Like Keith Baker, the one who, came up with Eberron, the progenitor, he has a couple trilogies that I've been meaning to read because I just love the world building here. It's super cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think that's it. What do you think?
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's
a lot of great ideas. We have a general idea of where this party might be leading, but at the end of the day, we're not going to know until it happens. So,
yeah. Jacoby's struggling with 3 different curses. Onka's trying to get over, getting kicked out of the gatekeepers.
Trying to atone for her sins.
Dealing with the cult. Probably feeling a urge, like a responsibility to deal with the cult.
Oh, if anything, she would know. Yeah, she would know a lot of things, probably more of the cult. Maybe she didn't immediately realize. So, there's atoning
and practice is just trying to, maybe that silver lining we were talking about, building that Warforged nation, maybe that's what he really latches onto.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I really want.
These are my people, Warforged are forever. Let's create a nation, like an everlasting nation for our people. And
good stuff.
All kinds of goodies. Path to good, path to evil. Now they must choose.
Now it is out of our hands and in the hands of the players.
Yes. Very good.
I think that's it.
I think that's good. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening.
Yay. We're going to try to figure out what setting we're going to do next. If you have any ideas, send it to us. Otherwise, we might push out something on social media or something like that.
Put it out there. Get our feelers out there. See
and
what
if nobody responds, we're just going to choose one.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll roll for it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
All right. Bye.
All right.